everyone, welcome to Evita Cooks. I hope you're having fun and a relaxing time in the kitchen. That's always very important. I'm back with another Evita original recipe. Besides shrimp and fish, my family loves chicken, so I have another chicken recipe. And today I'm sharing the recipe for my famous rosemary orange chicken breast. I'm sure you have your own personal favorite. However, this recipe is slightly different than most recipes. The secret to my super moist and tender chicken breast, without all the effort of course, is hidden behind a very simple and basic brine. The classic brine is usually made by combining salt, sugar, and water. However, for my brines, maximum flavor is the name of the game. So to the classic brine, I will add fresh rosemary. And I wish you could be here. I picked this rosemary from the garden this morning and my kitchen smells like heaven right now. I'm also going to be adding orange peels. This time I'm using fresh mandarin orange peels. You can use dry peels and of course the orange of your choice. This recipe is so simple to make. Let's go ahead and jump right into the recipe. This process is very simple and it starts by adding the water to the pot. To the water, I'm going to be adding the fresh rosemary leaves. I already have the leaves stripped out of the sprigs. I have about a cup of nicely packed rosemary leaves. Now, the amount of rosemary you use is going to depend on both how much chicken you're making and also how intense you want the flavor of the rosemary throughout the brine. And by the way, I have the heat on high. I'm coming in with the mandarin orange peels. And that is the equivalent of 2 oranges. Same concept. If you want that orange flavor to be more intense, then you add more orange peel. I'm adding the salt, the sugar, and for me, as an optional ingredient, I'll be adding some red chili flakes. The flakes just adds that hint of spice my family absolutely loves. If you don't want your chicken to be spicy, or if you have somebody that is too sensitive to spice, then you go ahead and omit the chili flakes. You can also add whole peppercorns or spice. Whatever you want to dump into it is fine. I will be bringing this to a boil. My approach when I create new recipes, especially meat recipes like this one, which as you can see is very easy to make, my goal is to imbue as much flavor into the dish as possible with minimum effort. So it's already come to a boil. I'm going to cover it, reduce the heat to low, and simmer covered for 10 minutes. And now at the end of the 10 minutes, I'm going to give this mixture a quick stir. My goodness, the smells are amazing. Okay, so I'm going to cover it right back and allow it to steep for about 15 minutes or until the brine is completely cool. This is very important before adding the brine to the chicken. The brine should be completely cold. Otherwise, the brine is going to start cooking the chicken and that's not what we're aiming for. While the brine cools, I clean the chicken and remove the excess fat. I'm using chicken breast, but this works great with a whole chicken, turkey, beef, lamb, and it is a spectacular brine for duck breast. Oh my goodness, it's absolutely incredible. Okay, the brine is cold and I'm going to pour the brine into this food grade bucket. You can get these at your local hardware stores such as Ace, Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart, and of course Amazon. And if you're in a hurry and you can't wait for the brine to cool naturally, you can always add ice cubes to cool it down. About 2 to 3 cups. Careful not to water down the brine too much because the more water you add, then you start to lose a little bit of that flavor. I tasted the brine and it's incredible. Remember, we use salt and sugar and it seems like we added a lot of salt, but for the amount of chicken that I'll be making, it's just perfect. Look at that beautiful color of the brine, and I am leaving everything in the brine because that's still going to imbue more flavor into the chicken. The most important detail about brining is that the meat that you brine needs to be submerged completely in the brine. And check it out. By now you should know that every recipe that I give you guys, I always give you a full recipe. I have tried and tested that recipe several times, so I know that this is more than enough brine for the amount of chicken that I'm making. But if when you make it at home you don't have enough, there's always other ways that you can help to keep the chicken submerged under the water, or the brine in this case. Even though I have enough brine to cover the chicken in its entirety, I always put a bowl or a plate in the center and I weigh it down with some ice cubes to help the chicken stay submerged under the brine. So I have a plate that fits just right inside this bucket. And like I said, the ice is gonna keep it submerged in that brine. In this bucket, I can make up to 10 pounds of chicken. I have brined an entire pork roast and even a turkey, or a boneless turkey. So just keep that in mind. You're gonna need something that is big enough to hold the amount of meat that you're brining, and also a bucket that fits in your refrigerator. Now there's other ways that you can do this without the use of a refrigerator. That will require the use of a cooler if you don't have the space in the refrigerator, which is in fact the method that I use when I make the turkeys for Thanksgiving, because for years now I have been brining my turkeys. I don't do the turkeys the old-fashioned way anymore. We prefer a nice moist turkey, and this method works absolutely incredible. Of course, we need a lid for the bucket, and we're going to secure it. And I'm going to store it in the refrigerator, like I said, for at least 12 hours, up to 48 hours, no more, because beyond that point the chicken starts to cure, and that's definitely not what I'm aiming for. While we wait for the chicken to brine, let's talk about how brines work. First, using a solution of salt and water, which is the classic brining solution, keeping the meat submerged in the brine, we add seasoning and flavor. And that works by breaking down the meat's physical nature. What exactly does that mean? Basically, the salt brine denatures the meat's proteins, allowing the cells to retain moisture while tenderizing the meat, causing the muscle fibers to unravel and swell. In other words, absorb all that beautiful and aromatic brine, and in effect, trapping all those juices within the walls of that spectacular cut of meat. And the meat absorbs so much of the liquid that it's nearly impossible to evaporate all that liquid in the cooking process, and the result is a succulent, moist, and juicier piece of meat. Check this out. I kept the chicken in the brine for a full 48 hours, and as the chicken brines, it soaks up all those formidable flavors from the rosemary, orange peel, the chilies, with the perfect balance of sweet and salty. If you want to remove the excess rosemary, you can go ahead and do that. I also make this chicken breast using my Creole seasoning, and I smoke them rather than putting them in the oven, and they taste amazing. But today I'm in a bit of a hurry. The boys are on their way home, and I really need to get dinner on the table before they come home. The seasoning I make is a little bit smoky. It has some oregano, salt, pepper, onion, paprika. My goodness, it smells incredible. Into the oven they go. When I come back, I'll show you what they look like. Friends, for more Evita Cooks original recipes, consider subscribing to the channel, like, share, and comment for the YouTube algorithm, and activate the bell so you never miss out on any of my videos. Until next time, I'm Evita Cooks. Bon appetit! You really have to try it.